Hey everyone, Simon here from Top Tennis Training, and in this video I'm going to show you 5 of the best exercises that you can do anywhere, even out on court, with very little equipment. In fact, all you need is one of these resistance bands. Now most of you can buy these on Amazon for less than $10, so there's no excuse in not having one of these in your tennis bag. Now before we get into the video, I just want to say that before you start an exercise routine, consult a professional just for your own safety, so that you're doing the exercises correctly. Now let's break down the body into 3 segments. You've got the legs, the lower part, you've got the trunk, the core, and you've got the upper body. The first exercise is based around the lower body. Now the lunge will be one of the most beneficial exercises for players around the world. Now when you think about it in terms of what we're actually doing during a stroke, if I load up for an open stance forehand, I'm going into a half lunge. So my legs are really supporting my upper body. The same on the backhand. If I'm going into an open stance backhand, it's that same feeling that I'm lunging onto my left foot. Now when I come to the net and I hit a volley, if it's a low volley, I have to lunge into it. So I'm lunging into that ball, so the stronger we are and the more stable we are and more explosive we have those leg muscles in that lunge position, the faster we can be on those low volleys and the more explosive we can be from open stance positions. This is especially true on the return of serve. When you're hitting that return, you want to start from that outside leg and almost jump from a lunging position into the stroke. So these will really help your volleys, your low volleys especially. This will really help your open stance and that return of serve. Now instead of doing a traditional lunge where you hold it, or where you have weighted lunges, where you've got a weight in each hand or a weight on your back, and just doing this, we're going to make it more explosive and more realistic to a tennis point. More explosive in the terms of, instead of just holding that lunge, we're going to do jumping lunges. So to begin, you can have both arms out to the side like this. This is the way I do it with my students. And you're going into a lunge and then jumping from leg to leg. So it's going to be like this. Lunge, 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 lunge. Try to go for about 6 to 8 on each leg. And from the side angle, it's going to look like this. So hands out to the side. Lunge, 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 lunge. Try to keep your core engaged. Try to keep your stomach switched on when you are doing that lunge, and also feel that you're balanced. So don't be going into that lunge and wobbling, and also don't allow the front knee to go too far forward. This is a common error. Players go onto the front of the feet when they're in that lunge. They go here. Now that will put a lot of stress on your knee, and that's unnecessary. So you're going into a heel position. So the heel will be directly beneath the knee. So instead of going here, we're going here. So once again, lunge, 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 lunge. Try to do 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps, and you'll really feel it in the quads and the glutes. The next exercise will target the lower leg, so the calf muscles, the back of the lower leg. Every time we split step and every time we push off, those muscles are engaged. So when we do a split step, especially if we're doing a good split step onto the front, onto the balls of our feet, our muscles at the back of the leg, the calf muscles, are engaged, and it's important to train these muscles to make them even more explosive. It's also equally as important to stretch them and make sure that they're quite lengthened and they're not too tight. So if you just do these, you'll make the muscles tight. So you have to make sure that you're stretching those calf muscles in between sets and also on a day-to-day basis. Now the exercise is very simple. Have a line like the baseline, and we're going to work on just going over the line and back as explosively as we can for 10 reps in a row. So there and back is 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can also hold a racket when you're doing this exercise if you're out on court, to make it more realistic to tennis. And from the front, it's going to look like so. So the feet are about 1.5 shoulder widths apart. You're on the balls of the feet, the front of the feet. You're not on the heels. You're not doing this like a sumo wrestler. You're doing it like a tennis player, like a Federer. So you're going from here, there and back as quick as you can. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that's one set. You might do 3 sets of those. If 10 is too easy, you can always go up. So with my students, I tend to do 20 there and back for 1 set, and we'll do 3 sets of those. So instead of just 10 of these, we'll do 20 of these, and you'll start to feel that burn in the back of your legs if you're doing it correctly. So now we've worked on the legs, it's time to work on the trunk. Now many players, they work on the plank for the trunk. They think that the plank is the best exercise for tennis. Now it will strengthen the core and it will really engage the core in that exercise, but in terms of tennis, nothing beats that rotational power through the trunk and through the core. Now the rotational power will come from the exercise I'm going to show you, along with the medicine ball. So this is why you'll see me always doing medicine ball training drills with my students. 1, 2. But before they do the medicine ball training, they're doing this exercise. So this is where you need the resistance band. You're going to tie it around the netting or the fence, and we're going to work on that rotational power through the trunk. So make sure that both bands are about the same length when you are doing this exercise. So I have a wide base, I'm bent down, I'm almost squatting into that position, and I'm just working on keeping the arms extended and now rotating with the upper body, using the shoulders and using the core muscles to rotate. So once again, we're starting off quite far back. You can almost go fully all the way if you're strong enough and if you feel capable of doing that. And from here, we're keeping the arms quite extended and rotating. Now you feel a real burn in the trunk muscles if you do this correctly. Once again, go for 8 to 10 reps on one side, and then of course swap sides. So you're doing both the forehand and the backhand side. But once again, the arms are quite extended, and now I'm just working on that rotational power through the trunk from here, 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 here. Keep a note on my arms, and also if you want to, you can focus on the breathing in this exercise. So exhale as you're coming forward, inhale as you come back. So all the time, my legs are also engaged, so I'm not just doing this with the upper body without my legs engaged. I want to feel that my legs are involved in keeping me stable and keeping me balanced. So once again, here, rotate, here, rotate. And from the other side, you'll see you can see how this exercise replicates that forward phase of a backhand and that forward phase of a forehand when you're opening up the shoulders. So you've done that coil and now you're uncoiling on that forward phase. The more you do this, the more explosive you make this exercise, the stronger you'll feel in the core when you are hitting that shot, and the more power you'll get on your strokes. This leads on to the next step of this exercise. So you've got the rotational power from a front-on position, but now I'm going to be facing forwards towards the band, and from here I'm now going to rotate as much as I can to one side and then to the other side. And this is an exercise that you'll see a lot of pros doing at the events when they are warming up or when they're working on their physical conditioning. So you've got this, keep the arms quite extended once again, a wide base with my legs, I'm squatting down, and from here, rotate, 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 rotate. Once again, in that ready position, wide base, and all I'm doing is focusing on that rotation happening through the shoulders and slightly through the hips. Keeping the arms quite extended. When I do, pull the band back. Now this exercise will really help you in that early racket preparation. When you see the players from that position being so fast in that early preparation, they're just from the ready position and they're having that quick coil with the upper body, with the shoulders. This exercise will really help you to improve that early racket preparation and that quick coil, so that later on in the swing we're uncoiling. So it's that coil and uncoil that's going to give you a lot of rotational power through the stroke on both the forehand and the backhand. If it comes to my backhand, once again I'm doing that early coil with the upper body, and this is the exact same feeling that I'm doing with that band. So now we've worked on the legs, we've worked on the rotational power through the trunk and through the core. Now it's time to work on the upper body. Now in an ideal situation, you'd have time to go to the gym and work on the major muscles in that upper body. But if time is an issue and you want to focus on just 2 of the main exercises you should be doing for that upper body, the number 1 will be working on the scapula. Now this is the back muscles. So when we hit a forehand, the stress is going to be on the chest. You're going to be using the chest on that forward phase of the swing. So the shoulders get stronger, the chest gets stronger, and it's being used. And then to counterbalance that, we have to almost train the back muscles more in the gym than we train the front muscles, because the front muscles, the chest and the shoulder muscles, are always being used in that forward phase of the swing. And to balance this out, we need to work on the back muscles to give us that stability and avoid getting injured. Another thing you don't want to have is the shoulders leaning forward like this because of a tight chest. You want to strengthen the back muscles so that your back is stable when you are playing tennis. If you look at players like Federer and Djokovic, they have great postures. So the first exercise we're going to do is the reverse fly. So in the gym we have the fly for the pecs, and then you have the reverse fly where you work on the scapula, the back muscles. And from the front, you're going to have both arms quite extended, almost straight. You're keeping that position when you go back to your side. You're trying to pause it at the very end of the motion for half a second, just to work on stabilizing the scapula when you are in that position. And we're going to go for 8 to 10 reps, 3 times. Now the next exercise is for the rotator cuff. So when we're serving, when we're hitting a forehand, we're using the front of the shoulder. Now to counterbalance that and to work on the reverse of that, we're going to get the band in one hand like so. We're going to keep the elbow at shoulder height. Now the wrist is in a neutral position here, and all I'm doing is using the shoulder to bring the palm up to my head level. Now I'm not doing it like this or this, I'm keeping it very stable. The only thing that's moving and the only thing that is working is the back of the shoulder, the rotator cuff. So I'm doing this, coming up. We're going to go for 8 to 10 reps on both sides. So it's important to do, even if you're right-handed, to also do your left hand. So once again, I'm in that position. And from the back, it's going to look like so. So there you have it, 5 of the best exercises you can do out on court, in a gym. You can do this anywhere where you've got a bit of space and you've got a resistance band. You've got the jumping lunge, the explosive lunge, you've got the split step working on this explosive split step, you've got the rotational power through the trunk, you've got the scapula working on the back muscles, and you've got the rotator cuff exercise to help you stabilize the shoulder and make sure that you don't injure yourself from too much serving. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below as well. Would you like to see more videos on fitness and on strength for tennis players? If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Signing off, Simon from TTT. All the best, guys. See you soon.